Hey, what's up guys? It is Found Oasis, and today I will be doing that Switch 2 video I was telling you guys about. Just talking about some stuff, the whole situation around the Switch 2. But before we get into this, I want to know, could you guys let me know in the comments, what should I do with my lighting situation? I am using a Logitech Brio. Know my lighting could be a lot better. The quality of this webcam, I've seen a lot of people use it, they get way better quality. Has to do with the room and the lighting. It's mostly the lighting. I think I need to get like a light that goes over there. But without any further ado, let's get into the Switch 2, and I want to touch on everything in this. Game prices, the console itself, the features, the software things they got going on, everything they've talked about. Um, we're just gonna do this together naturally, like if we were live streaming. I'm just gonna go through because I'm not writing notes down. I just want it to be natural and just go with it. Okay, so let's jump in here. Um, Here we go. So we're gonna start with Nintendo Direct. I think this is a good place to jump off from. Um, yeah, we're gonna talk about, you know, just how they went about this. And sorry I didn't do this live with you guys when it came out. Would have been nice. I am going to do the Mario Kart World Direct live with you guys. That's coming on Thursday. As long as I'm not busy, I want to do that. But they got this nice little intro. Nintendo's been doing these for basically since the Directs have started. Let's look at some Wario. Some Mario Kart World gameplay. I think the game looks great. I don't think it's anything wildly different from what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did, but I think it's great. They showed a bunch of open world stuff. Now, how much is that going to affect the main mode? Probably not much, but it looks really good. I'm not thrilled about the $80 price point. I could have dealt with 70 with games, but it's not so much that I mind if Nintendo prices Mario Kart World at 80. It's just, what's that going to say to the rest of the industry? I mean, we're already hearing rumors about GTA, 6 being $100. It's kind of crazy. Like, you got to think about the consumer, and the companies are starting to just get way too greedy with it, which we knew was going to happen. But anyways, let's get back into this. So they showed. I had never seen these guys in my life before. I didn't know these guys were doing anything. I mean, maybe if you're really into it, really paying attention behind the scenes, but I kept up with what was happening and everything, but I had no idea that these were the guys who worked on the Switch too. But yeah, let's get from Mario Kart, and go into some other stuff. We can come back to the game price thing if we want to. Yeah, I thought this, they showed what the C button's for here. And then they showed us the game chat and screen sharing features. I mean, it's just basically Nintendo's version of Discord, that the screen sharing runs worse because it's only using like literally not even 1% of the GPU because they want to make sure the games didn't lag, which, I mean, come on, it's a portable console. So it's amazing they even have this. And I thought they were going to do something like this. Now, how they were going to implement it, I didn't know quite how they were going to do it. But they did it in their own way. It literally looks like Discord. Am I going to get the webcam or something? I actually heard you can use your own webcam with it. Now, I don't know if it'll work as good, but the webcam that's coming with it's $50. I don't think that's a bad price. There's the Pro Controller. The Pro Controller, I think, is $80, which that's pushing it too for the Pro Controller. All it's got differently, it's got the two new back buttons and the C button. This feature in handheld mode too, letting you easily chat with friends and family. If you open the chat menu and turn on game screen sharing, good job. There we go. Yeah, like I said, like the screen sharing is laggy. It is what it is. I'm surprised. I mean, I was really surprised they were going to, they gave us the new features. I thought it was really cool. You could have your face you know, during the
Or
gameplay,
hold a
let's get to
sports
where they
competition
showed some of
between
the stuff.
families.
Let's get into the console here.
All
Comparison.
together,
This
anytime,
this is probably the
anywhere.
part I might talk about the most.
Switch 2
I'm
has
more
a
of a
bigger
technical
built-in
specs
screen.
guys.
Here's how
I
that
care about that
compares to
stuff.
Nintendo Switch.
Technical
The
specs
system's
kind of guy.
thickness remains the same.
Yeah, thickness is the same.
With
Screen was a little
approximately
bigger, they
double
said.
the pixels compared to Switch, you can
Which
enjoy
is
games
great.
in greater detail on the
1080p
1080p
is
screen.
all you need for a 8-inch screen size. All of these, I want to say this, a lot of people might say, I went more than that. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that expected more. Do you really want to pay more than $450 though for this thing? Like, come on. And then there's the tariffs things that got paused, which we heard about. That whole situation, it was crazy. We'll get into more of that later. But yeah, just the whole situation is crazy around this thing, and the prices might go up later on because of the tariff situation in China, where they get parts from, and Vietnam. So I think they get the majority of the parts of Vietnam. 120
The screen
FPS.
supports up
I
to
was kind of
120
surprised by
frames per
this,
second, allowing for
especially
smoother
when it's in
gameplay and
handheld
supported
mode.
titles.
And this is a great way to represent it. I personally, a lot of people are saying this was a confusing Switch 2 Direct. I think this Switch 2 Direct basically cleared up almost everything. I understand you might have a few more questions. I did myself, like how the game key cards are going to work, how the Switch 2 editions are going to work, how much are the game upgrades going to be, all that stuff. They could have been a little better, but I think for the most part they did a good job. So what they're showing here is literally you will see more of these frames, and it makes it look more fluid and smoother because the console can run it because of the GPU, CPU, RAM, all that. We don't have all the technical specs, but we know it's a NVIDIA GPU. So, and I'm guaranteeing they're using DLSS in the background, because I don't see how this would be possible from a hardware perspective without it.
Providing more contrast between light and dark areas of the images.
That's good. I've heard a lot of people at the conventions and stuff for this saying, they still prefer OLED because the colors and the true blacks are better. But I mean, I've rocked with this LCD panel on my laptop, and it's pretty good. It's a lot better than the one on my OG Switch. So,
All-new Joy-Con 2 controllers
and I mean, it
connect
even holds up to my
magnetically.
phone screen, in my opinion.
Strong magnets keep
Which
the controllers
is an
firmly
OLED
attached to
on
the
my
system.
iPhone. I have an iPhone
Detach your controller
16.
easily by pressing the release button on the back.
Yeah, I think the magnetic thing, a lot of people were worried about the magnetic thing. I was not worried about that at all. Like, I've seen magnetic technology work really good in just everyday products. Like, they have shower heads now that can connect. You use them, they just last. Like, my aunt has one that works great. Bigger buttons. Alright,
SL
we
and
basically
SR buttons are
seen
bigger
everything.
for greater
They could have done
comfort
more
and
storage.
control
I like the
playing with
new,
Joy-Con 2 held
stand,
horizontally.
how far it can go. This tech demo.
No Switch 2.
This tech demo. This is one of the parts that I am going to be as critical as everybody else on. This tech demo right here,
I'm
bro.
standing over here.
It is crap.
Okay, everyone, join me inside
It is
the game.
literally just showing you, oh, here's the console. It's not even a fun
are a
tech
lot
demo.
of
Yeah,
question
I know
mark
there's some
icons
mini
here.
games showing you
Let's
some of this
examine
stuff.
them.
But it's like, bro, it's like a manual
This sign
game.
reads,
Who's
"Where
gonna
are the
buy
magnets?"
this? I mean, even if it was in the
Joy-Con
console,
2
it's not
controllers
going
attach to
against
the
like
system with magnets.
Wii Sports.
And those magnets are inside
Like
the system.
Reggie Fils-Aimé got, and he was
The
talking
SL
about this.
and
He wasn't
SR
happy with
buttons on the Joy-Con
Nintendo
2
making
are
this
made of metal.
$10 not a packing game, and
So
it's
that's
nowhere
how they
close
attach
as
to the
good as
system.
Wii Sports was. And I think
A
Wii
magnetic
Sports
circuit is
Resort
formed
was
between
packed
them,
in
so they
later in the
won't
life of the
easily
console of
detach.
the Wii. But yeah, this should have been packed in.
Through
Come on,
examining
Nintendo.
signs like these,
The
you can
PlayStation
discover all
even
sorts
did
of
it, and they're being
secrets about Nintendo
proprietary as
Switch
heck
2.
with that console. Like the PlayStation 5, I feel like the only people that defend the PlayStation 5, which we'll get into comparisons game-wise with some of the games that some YouTube channels have done with the PlayStation 5 games and Switch 2 games. Like, I don't get why you would buy a PlayStation 5. Like, at the jump, if you bought one out the gate, I understand. PlayStation has been a pretty good brand when it comes to gaming. Every gaming company has bad practices, like any company. But, yeah, I think PlayStation, they proved themselves from the PlayStation 1 on PlayStation 4. they had some bad decisions. I mean, the PlayStation 3 probably being their worst console up to until the PlayStation 5. But they came back with it. I mean, they had stuff like The Last of Us. They had other games too coming out, and they kept it moving. You know, they kept doing stuff that people wanted, and I mean, the sales speak for themselves on the PlayStation 3. It actually ended up outselling the Xbox 360, even though I think the Xbox 360 is better. But yeah, let's get back to the video here. So yeah, they have like a golf mini game here. I'm not even gonna like show it, bro. Like, they're such simple mini games. Who gives a crap? All right, I do want to see this part about the game cards and talk about it.
Switch 2 titles.
So the game card, they're making it
It's
look
the same.
different. Now, a lot of people might not see how important just the color changes, but it tells you right away. First of all, it says 2 on it, and it's red. So right there, you're gonna know the difference. Don't think that's that confusing.
Shape as Nintendo Switch game card.
And the speeds on
but
them are
it's now
faster,
red,
they say.
and it has much faster data reading speeds.
Yeah.
Next up is additional storage. Switch 2
Yeah,
will only work
You'll
with
need
micro SD
new micro SD cards, which is unfortunate, but again, it's understandable. These will be probably about anywhere from, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked at the prices. I'm hoping the 256 ones come down rather quick into the life of the console, like within 2 years, so people can get 1 terabyte ones if they wish, because, you know, people might buy a lot of games on this thing, and you don't want the 1 terabyte to be like $150 to $200. Like, yeah, I want to see what I really want to see in general, talking about storage and stuff like SD cards. I want to see these come down in price for tech, which it probably won't. And I want to see SSDs or some sort of new SSD technology be made that is cheaper. You know, 1 terabyte drives are still, I think they're like 60 for an SSD now. You can get more expensive ones that are better quality, but they start around the $60 range, which isn't terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'd like to see those prices continue to drop so people can get, I mean, you see how big, if you're a gamer, you're probably the person that needs the most storage. Or if you do a lot of photography even, you're going to need a lot of storage. Now we're talking about game console here, but, you know, the conversation, you know, connects when it comes to the storage thing.
express cards. They're a different type of SD card and will
Yeah.
make high-speed data transfers possible.
Which is great. And here's the new
GL and
Pro
GR
controller, the new buttons like I was
which you can
talking
use
about.
to assign existing
It's got
buttons.
a headphone jack on it, so you know you'll be able to talk. I guess it doesn't have a mic built in unless you know, it doesn't use it unless you have headphones with a mic. So it won't have the
Controls.
capabilities right on the controller, which I think is smart because there would be no way they could completely phase out those button clicking sounds.
In addition,
And I'm very skeptical. I didn't show it, but I'm very skeptical about the how far your voice can reach and blurring out the background noise. I mean, I'm sure they put some sort of software noise gate and noise suppression on the Switch, but I would really like to see how good that works. Because if it works really good and it really only takes in voices, you gotta give Nintendo props for that, because there's not a lot of software out there that works that flawlessly without any configuration. I mean, even OBS, you gotta set a noise gate in that, which isn't too hard with a mic like this one I'm using. But, you know, if it's very easy to use, that's what I like about Nintendo. They present everything very easy, very simple, in my opinion, for the most part. And just, I think companies are failing to do that. I don't think they get where the consumer that doesn't pay attention to these things are coming from all the time. I mean, even someone like me, if I had to look up the specifics about all these things, it would get quite annoying and quite confusing, which it's already somewhat confusing for people.
addition, an audio jack has been added. We've introduced a few new features, and after today's
Yeah.
Party Jamboree.
I'm not going to get this game.
Please take
I'm not getting this DLC. It's so gimmicky. I mean, it's cool they're adding mouse controls. I'm really hyped for that, for FPS games. And even other stuff. But this ain't it. This is just an easy, like... Sorry if you heard the garage guys downstairs, but this is just a easy money-making thing. And here, this is a good time to talk about the upgrade pack. The upgrade pack, this is only... Well, since it has more content, this might be a different situation with this upgrade pack. It might be more than $10. But they've said most upgrade packs are $10. Now, I don't know. I have no idea about that, but I'm hoping that's the case. Yeah, this one might be a little more. Like if it's 20 because it's got extra content, fair enough. You know, whatever. I think the $10 game upgrade thing is very good way to do it. The games that want like an actual big upgrade or really want to focus on making it the best they can for the Switch 2. Now, some upgrade packs are just going to be for free, they said, which they should have touched on a little more in this, which they've talked about later on. So, thought this new Zelda Notes thing was awesome. Like you could share creations with your friends, like the stuff. It's on the Nintendo Switch app, which they're going to be changing. I hope they add the voice chat into this as well as the console, because if they do that, it actually might be able to compete a little bit with Discord. Not saying it will, beat it, because Discord's on phone, on PlayStation, on Xbox, and on PC. So it's never going to be Discord. I mean, something big would have to come out to be Discord. And at this point, I don't think it's happening. Sorry about the garage again if you heard it. Yeah, but I think it's cool, these features.
We hope these features will make your adventures even more enjoyable.
Yeah. And then let's move on to the Kirby one. If it loads. There we go.
Metroid Prime 4 Beyond will have both a Nintendo Switch and a Nintendo Switch 2
This is going to look great on Switch 2. Now, this game is on Switch 1, so personally, am I going to buy the Switch 2 day one? No. No. It's going to have Donkey Kong Bonanza, and that's not coming till July, and then Mario Kart World off the bat. Those are the only games I'm super hyped for. Now, that Dust Bloods game that they show later on in this, it looks great. I'm not going to lie.
In addition to standard controls,
yeah.
You can use mouse controls.
This looks great, though, for a Switch 2 game. I mean, it looks like a fun game. Plus, the mouse controls, again, awesome. This is a FPS-like game. I think it's really going to make the movement a lot better.
At 120 frames per second.
That's going to be awesome. Modes, both of which support HDR. I also saw a 1440p. I could be wrong about this, but I saw a 1440p mode somewhere. I forget where I was reading, but it said there would be like a 1440p mode. I could be wrong about that, but I think I read about that on the Switch too, which that would be awesome. This Drag and Drive game, I think it's cool they're doing a basketball game and doing a new IP. Nintendo needs to do some new cool things. It's a good way to show off the mouse controls. I think a decent amount of people might get it. I think it's going to be more successful than ARMS, because I don't see mouse as a gimmick. I see the game kind of more as a gimmick, because it doesn't look fully fleshed out here. If this was like a really fun looking game, like it just looks like Wii Sports basketball with wheelchairs, like handicap basketball. It's like, what? It's kind of cool, but it's just like, come on. I think it's awesome they did Elden Ring, Hades. I'm not going to look at all these games. You know, the Madden games are coming. GoldenEye, or whatever they're planning on doing with James Bond there. That will be great. You know, new Tears of the... Not Tears of the Kingdom. New Hyrule Warriors, the third game in the series. GameCube, the way they're rolling out GameCube is nice. I didn't know we were going to see a resolution bump on the Nintendo Switch app itself. I guess the classic games, which they're calling it Nintendo Classics now, they've done a soft rebrand of it. Instead of just calling it part of Nintendo Online. I think the resolution bump's nice. Now, my question is, how much storage is this going to take up? Because I'm guessing this is going to come out on Switch 1. How much storage is this going to take up on Switch 1? They could have addressed something like that too. There's a lot of little things I think they could have just took a few seconds to address, and they just didn't, and it just ended up causing more confusion. I hope they address, at least like in the beginning of the Mario Kart World Direct, I hope they address some of these things, because it just would be nice.
And story mode. Get ready to experience
But I don't want this video to be too long.
In games that support multiplayer, up to 4 can play together locally or online.
I thought Deltarune, you know, chapter 3 and 4 finally coming out. It's a good game. I think this game's underrated compared to the original Undertale. I think it's doing as much as it can. I mean, they're adding so many different like subgenres, like music genre, rhythm. I mean, the old, you know, use the heart to avoid stuff, but they're changing it up. I think it's a decent sequel. I think Civ 7 having mouse support's awesome. I don't care about these kind of games, but for people who like those games, I think that's awesome. And this is where it froze during the actual live stream of this event, which I thought was hilarious. And I thought it was my Wi-Fi, along with other streamers and YouTubers who live streamed this. They all thought it. Dashie did. A lot of the Nintendo Switch YouTubers that cover it did. Final Fantasy looks great on this console. So does Cyberpunk, even though it's only going to run at 30. I think it's awesome. Soak Song's announced for this year. Enter the Gungeon 2 kind of just looks stupid to me because it's like, did we really need a 3D rendered version of this game? I think the original game was fine. I don't know. I just think it's going to be a thing where it's like, oh, now it runs on less systems now. And like they might add some cool new content, but you could have just added... It's just for the sake of, like, getting more attention towards the Enter the Gungeon series, I guess. It's just fine, but let's get real. It's not going to get as much attention as the original, which it shouldn't. Pixar is not to be replaced. If you make your game around it, they should have made a new game, in my opinion, if they wanted to do something. And they could have had similar elements to Enter the Gungeon. But this looks great on the Switch, too. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch it 1080p, guys. Oh. Sorry about this. I don't know why it's doing that. Alright, there we go. Oof. Come on, you can do 1080. There we go. YouTube will randomly do that, and I don't even feel like it's an internet thing sometimes. Yeah, this is the new Dust Bloods game. I want to get to that. Screw the rest of the stuff. Let's just get to this. I know I'm taking a while on the direct. The video's already been 22, almost 23 minutes now, but I want to make sure I'm hitting everything, and then we can go into some other little things on the side that I think of. Anything, I'm just doing this natural. I wasn't going to write down, oh, what I want to hit or have the tabs already open. I just wanted to do it. Just, you know, we can have a conversation in the comments if you guys want or whatever.
Turn.
I actually am going to let most of this play, at least a decent amount of it. Because I thought it was awesome they were going to make this exclusive for the Switch too. No, it's probably a timed exclusive thing. They're just not saying it's timed exclusive. But I have a feeling it's timed exclusive. Probably. I couldn't see them. I definitely won't buy this on Switch 2 because I'll wait to see. Now, if they actually end up being able to keep this on Switch 2, that would be insane. Because, you know, these are the creators of Elden Ring. I mean, they're one of the biggest gaming companies right now in the industry. So that would be insane to me. But it looks great. Let's get some more gameplay. Oh, shoot. Oh, I thought I skipped it all at first. Yeah, for real though, I want to live stream the Mario Kart World thing and just get the first reaction and just watch it with you guys live. If you guys join, that would be really fun.
As befits the soon to depart.
I don't want to be a Nintendo Switch 2 YouTuber, guys, just to let you know, but I do want to pay attention to it. If there's something notable to talk about, I want to talk about it. I don't want to be like these are YouTubers that, like, suck the life dry out of every single little bit of information. It just is annoying to me. Like I talked about on my channel update video. I hate when YouTubers do that.
The moon tears will flow for one, and one alone.
See, like, that looks good. Doesn't look bad. I literally thought this was Smash, guys. Like, until I saw the rocket boosters on the star, because I realized, okay, this is taking too long to be Smash. It would have just got to the point if it was Smash. But I literally thought this was Smash at first. I mean, it's the same creator. The guy who made Kirby, by the way, if you didn't know, made Kirby before Smash even was a thing. He made Kirby originally for the Game Boy. And then it came to the NES. Yeah, this is when I knew it was, you know, a Kirby game. And to do a sequel for Air Riders isn't bad. This is a game I might get whenever I get my Switch 2. I don't know if I will or not. We'll see. Just depends how fun it is. That's what I'm about. I'm into quick, fun type games. I'm not into like super grindy games. Some stuff. Minecraft's an exception for me. And some RPGs. Like maybe like Earthbound or something that has a really good story. You gotta have something that makes up for a little bit of that grindiness. Either in better fight combat and not just like Pokemon where you just click the attack you want to do. No, you actually like have some more involved, quick paced combat, like snappy, just like
Kirby
you know.
Air Ride, which originally released on the Nintendo GameCube system over 20 years ago,
yeah,
is getting
that
a
looked
brand
good.
new game.
All right, let's get
We hope you're
to
looking
the
forward
thing
to
that I
Kirby
thought
Air
was
Riders,
freaking amazing.
Directed by Masahiro Sakurai. Next is our
I'm
last
just gonna
trailer
let this
for
play
today.
right into it
Please
because
take a look.
we all know what this is, and it was just great. I mean, there were rumors the Odyssey team was working on this, and I figured they were going to show it in this Direct, or at least in the next Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. But it's still, I was very surprised that the whole environment can almost be destroyed. I thought that was a great way to improve on the gameplay of Odyssey. And really just to make sure that they don't do the same thing again with Mario. I'm really curious on how they're going to change up the next Mario. Are they going to do Odyssey 2? I don't think so. I think they're really going to try to make a new Mario game. But I love they're putting more focus on DK. Because, I mean, this character literally started Nintendo. I mean, the original Donkey Kong in '81 literally made the company huge. Made millions. They beat Universal in a, you know, in court because they claimed Donkey Kong was ripping off King Kong. And, I mean, Donkey Kong's been a great character. We've gotten tons of great games out of him. I don't think Donkey Kong 64 is great. I think there's certain things about it that are great, and hopefully they tap into the things that were great about it here. I don't think that's going to be two-player co-op or anything. Hopefully the Mario game is. I hope the new Mario game actually has two-player co-op. I've been wanting that so bad in a 3D platformer, and no 3D platformer has quite done it, like in a big, proper 3D platformer, I'm talking. Not 3D World. 3D World doesn't count. But this looks great. You know, they did a shout out to Country there. Just looks great. This made me like the new design. The first time I watched this, I didn't still like it. But it grew on me. After a few more times of watching it, it grew on me. Really did. Yeah, the only reason why I didn't watch the whole Mario Kart World is because we're going to watch the Direct together and see more gameplay. You know, that's the game being covered the most. So, basically everybody's seen the gameplay if you care about it. But this is a little, you know. See, it's not coming until July. So, I mean,
was a brand new 3D
that would be
platforming
2 games
action
for
game
me.
starring Donkey Kong,
I need to wait
called
until there's more
Donkey
games
Kong
basically on the
Bonanza.
Switch 2 to buy it.
with
For
incredible
me,
strength,
for it to be worth it
smash
to me.
through enemies,
But,
walls, the ground, and just about everything
Yeah.
as you demolish
So that's
your way
everything
through a
for this.
massive underground world.
So let's get
More
to
details will be
switch to prices. Really start to talk about that. Sorry for the mic sound. Switch 2. I think $450 for the console price is awesome. I'm not even going to touch on that. But I just want to get into a few things here. Talking about it. Here, this is a good picture. Here. So this is a new game. Like if you buy the upgrade pack with it is $80, which is a lot for some DLC to a Switch 1 game. This is $80. Like Tears of the Kingdom, it came out in 2021, bro. Like that's a bit much. Mario Kart World, it's a new game and that's still a bit much. Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70, and in my opinion, I mean, it's a newer, better game probably than Kirby or even Tears of the Kingdom. You see the console price here? I think it's fine. You know, I think it's fine. Switch 2, I'll look into the tariff situations. Talk about that a little bit. So, yeah. But basically it got delayed. It's not affecting it yet, like I talked about. There's really no... Yeah, I'm not getting into all that technical stuff. I don't care about politics enough. Yeah, I think we have... Do we have a new pre-order date? Pre-order date. That's actually something new I could talk to you guys about that was just announced, I think. Maybe this is today. It says currently unavailable. Oh, wait. Coming soon. Yeah, release date. Are there still not pre-orders? Let me check a few other places, guys. I'm just curious. Like, I'm not pre-ordering it, but... Yeah. It says April 21st to April 30th in the US. Now, everybody else in other regions have already got their pre-orders, all except for Canada and here in the US, which is usually rare. Like, and Japan's prices for the Switch 2 is cheap, and I don't blame them. I mean, it's Nintendo's home country. Like, I'm fine with that. But games being 80 is just, I mean, it's too much. Let's look into accessories. All right. Talk about that a little bit. So we have the wheels here. These are $20, which I'm not buying a freaking $20 wheel. I know a lot of people did with the Wii, which I thought was stupid. You have carrying cases you can get for the thing. I mean, they're gonna have all kinds of stuff for it. You know, I'm sure though. I saw that case. Where is it at? Switch to. What was it? Case. Who was it by? Was it the Spigen one? There's a Spigen case here. They have a Nintendo already has a full carrying case like that. That's $80. It can hold everything. Dual grip. So it's just like a grip thing. I don't even think the thing comes out. I don't think you can detach the Joy-Cons with that. You probably can actually. That's not too bad. $40 for that. Yeah, here's the all-in-one carrying case I was talking about. Yeah, here's a better picture of it. Is that a different one there? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, that looks bigger. That's smaller, that one, I think. Yeah, there was another company that had one with like the detachable Joy-Cons I can't find right now. But yeah, they're gonna have a grip, Satisfy, of course, which I've heard they're the best. They're the most comfortable. Yeah, here's the one with the detachable kill switch case, which looks really good, but it's from Dbrand. Here it is. Let's look up Dbrand. Do they have it on their website? I want to take a look at this real quick since we're talking about Switch 2 stuff. yeah, this is gonna be a little bit more of a lengthy video. I don't want to make it like an hour or anything, but yeah, see, I mean, it looks like it looks nice, but I hope it's not like super expensive, because it definitely shouldn't be. Yeah, and it comes with a thing that attaches to the dock, so you can have it more like a display. Yeah, it comes with this too, the travel cover, and you can put your games in it. So basically, you can hold your games, and it's a case all in one. It holds your games, holds your Switch. You know, you still need a screen protector. I think this thing should come with a screen protector. I mean, the dock adapter's nice though. They didn't have to do that. How much is it? It's launching alongside the Switch. That's just for a reservation, but yeah. What else? Oh yeah, the game card. I think only third parties are mostly going to use this. They're too lazy to take the time to port the game properly. Yeah, so that's the regular card. Game key card. Here it is. Some Switch 2. Yeah. So some, but like the Switch 2 editions are going to be the actual game. They talked about that. Which I didn't think that was a real big problem. No, I've never even seen these choose one cards. Those are nice. You can just choose one of those games. It's a nice way to do it. I didn't know those existed. But yeah, it's gonna have backwards compatibility on console. Now there is compatibility issues, which that's something I want to talk about as well. That maybe there's a possibility all Switch 1 games will not work day one with the console. Now we knew Labo wasn't going to, and we knew Ring Fit Adventure wasn't going to. That's understandable. That's barely even any games that require stuff like that. 1-2 Switch won't because of they don't have the IR sensors on the bottom of the Joy-Cons like they do. Not on this one. Let me show you. The bottom of this one, they don't have the AR sensor there. So what that does is it can detect shapes and stuff, and it would be used with certain mini games of the console. But yeah, I really haven't even been using my Switch the last few years because, to be honest with you, I've been using the Switch emulators. So yeah, love that click sound. It was great when they first showed it to us. Still great. I personally think that was something they could have made a little bit more satisfying for the Switch too, but it's such a little thing, who cares? Yeah. Nintendo Switch 2, Switch 1 compatibility. I'm not spelling that right, but close enough. Okay, where's that graphed? Here. Yeah, I want to see this. I want to talk about this and touch on it a little bit in one video. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of games that have no issues. The Nintendo games basically will be flawless. There's a few, like I said, those are the ones I probably talked about, not compatible. 1-2 Switch games. Labo, Ring Fit Adventure. It's not a big deal. But the rest, I mean, basically all the Nintendo games will be runnable, playable, all that. Now, games can be started, further test. Some land in that. Most of these are game is playable with issues in certain parts of the game. So that's basically issues were found during startup. But there is no, I'll give the partner games this. There is no not compatible games. But yeah, that's actually about how many games there are on the Switch. 15,000. That's probably the biggest gaming library of all time for a console. Of course, PC has a beat, but that's not even fair comparison. But for a console, that's insane. So yeah, if you guys want to know that, yeah. So this is You know, these games. Game Builder Garage, okay. The original Switch, no, Switch Sports works. Wait, does it? Games that cannot be played on Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Labo Toy VR Kit. Is that it? Is that, maybe I was wrong. Is that the only game you can't play? Heck, you can even play most of the Labo games, at least some of them. Just not the VR kit, which is fine. They'll probably do a new VR accessory for it anyways. Games that require Nintendo Switch Joy-Con to play. Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing they'll re-release like a Ring Fit thing. Certain Nintendo Switch games definitely are not going to work, but maybe these are some of the ones they're talking about that won't work. Yeah, let's see. The following games can be played with the Switch 2 controllers that are included with Nintendo Switch. If you have Nintendo Switch Joy-Con controllers and connect them wirelessly. Okay, so you can still play these games, but you need the original Joy-Cons, which a lot of people will have. But say I'm probably going to sell my Switch 1 console, so I don't even have any of these games, so it's not a big deal to me. I literally don't have a single one of these. I was thinking about getting Nintendo Switch Sports, but honestly, I'd rather just go down and play my Wii, because it's downstairs, and just play Switch Sports when I want, or just bring it up to the living room. Like, it's literally better, the games are funner, it's more nostalgic. I mean, come on, can't beat it. But yeah, the game compatibility. But last thing I really want to show, we touched on the game key cards, which will basically be mostly for third parties. We touched on Nintendo Switch 2 edition games, which will have sometimes free upgrade, where it will need $10 upgrade. Now, I don't know if that is with, like, if it has DLC content and it's a Switch 2 upgrade, it might be more. I'm not sure yet. Maybe still 10. I hope it's still 10. They should just do it just to make it a thing that's easy for the consumers to understand. I personally don't think they should do a lot of these Switch 1 actual update games that are paid, because it just creates confusion. I think they should just try to do mostly free game updates. But let's look up Nintendo Switch 2 versus PS5, and that'll basically be the last thing we talk about. Let's get a good video here. RGT85 isn't bad, but I want someone who talks about it a little bit more technical. Where's that? Let me see. Give me a second here, guys. Metroid Prime 4. I'm sure the guy's channel will come up. Come on. Where is he at? Here, wait, no. Wait, is this him? He's good. He breaks down things good. He's newer channel compared to the rest. Where is it? Is it Super? Is this him? Let me see. I think it's Super Metal Dave.
Not even released yet. Just from these unfinished demos that we're seeing basically on Switch 2, we're seeing something that's more.
Here we go. Yeah, and this actually is the video I was watching about it. So let's talk about versus the Steam Deck, because why not? It's a competitor. It's better than the Steam Deck.
Switch 2 was rumored and
case in point, simple way to put it.
And everything leading up to the actual showing of
but I'm just gonna let him talk.
What the console could do. There's been a ton of discussion and a lot of speculation and rumors and just assumptions about what the Switch 2
Shout out Super Metal Dave 64 though. His channel is awesome.
Digital Foundry. And yeah, buckle up, because this is going to be a recurring theme, no doubt, for the life of Switch 2, basically because we have the Xbox Series S, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X to compare Switch 2 ports to, and Digital Foundry is going to be the main source that is going to be doing the comparisons, and due to Digital Foundry's over 1 million subscriber channel, they have been known to be a source of information to provide for the
Yeah, I don't buy this concept that it's going to be more powerful than a Steam Deck or even, close to Series
This is
S.
what
It's
they
just
said
not gonna
before it
happen.
came out.
Before we get too deep into this, I want to first say right off the bat that I do respect Digital Foundry's work a lot, actually, for providing all the resolutions and frame rate performance
Well,
analysis.
no, I think
It's a
they
lot of
actually said
work,
that after.
and I definitely respect that, and I've used
That
their
they don't believe it's going to be more
comparisons a lot
powerful
over
than the
years
Steam Deck.
for games
Yeah,
on the
it said
Switch
April
and all these other
22nd. The
consoles
Switch 2 is already
on Twitter
announced.
and on my YouTube videos.
That's
So I
crazy,
definitely respect
bro.
them and thank them for their work.
I mean,
The
I think
issue
it
that has come
was
up,
very
though,
clear by the
that I have
gameplay
talked
it was
about
better.
even in the last year, even
The
before
Steam Deck
Switch
can't
2
do
was
120,
revealed,
and the Steam Deck
that I
isn't even
warned you guys about. The
180p.
main problem that I've noticed, at least, that Digital Foundry has been running into is
Yeah,
that they've been getting
Digital
so
Foundry
big
is not the
in their
best.
popularity that they are now allowing for opinion pieces to actually be joining in on
Yeah.
their frame rate, graphics.
You
and
can't have
resolution
opinion
analysis
pieces. You
videos.
have to have the actual data. Which, I mean, if you have a mistake here and there, that's fine. I think gamers would be understanding, but you can't. You can't be doing that. Not if you're like an actual company people go to. Like, okay, we're gonna compare the PS4 to
lighting,
PS.
and it has a totally different lighting
Look at
setup
that.
on clouds
Switch 2
facing
is
body.
definitely
It's more
better
of
than
kind of a
PS4, and this is
three-point
one of the
lighting
best
setup
games to
with a bit of a
showcase that.
three-dimensional
Which,
look
I
to
mean,
it,
it
a bit of a
should be.
strong
I mean,
edge light, key
PS4
light,
came out in
whatever. It looks
2013,
quite
so
good there. The Switch 2 version is
it's
running
12
the
years later.
Intergrade
So,
version,
come on.
which has the integrated lighting changes,
True,
which are
true.
quite
That is
nice.
true. This is an integrated version, so it's kind of on the game side it's better, but still, the PS4
So
could
I think
not
it
do certain
does
things
appear
lighting-wise.
more visually pleasing on Switch 2, but it's not like for like.
They've been on to bring
True.
out that the Switch 2 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade actually has the updated lighting, and that was actually a very good question, and that's something we actually don't have the answer to. Other than Digital Foundry saying that the Switch 2 is analogous to a PlayStation 4 in performance, that would be the only reason why they would compare it to the PlayStation 4 version, even though the game was actually optimized differently for PS4 and it has different graphical effects. They went ahead and compared it to the PS4 version anyway.
Someone was calling
And
me.
as
I'm
you guys know,
about to be
I am
done.
a
I'm going to
PC
call him
gamer.
back.
I have a RTX 4090. I have the best CPU on the market with a Ryzen 9800X 3D. As you know, in my live streams when I play games, I play the best looking games on the market. I played Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K 60 with path tracing turned on. It looks absolutely
Yeah,
fantastic.
if it impresses
It's
him,
gorgeous.
he
And I played the
has...
brand new, very demanding Half-Life 2 RTX on this channel as well.
He
in
just said
full.
he has
And
some of the
this
best
game will look
specs.
great.
PC
But what the
wise, and
Switch 2
it's
is doing
still
is absolutely fantastic and very
Yeah,
impressive.
for
no doubt
450
using
for-
things like
look at this.
DLSS and being based on the
I mean, the
Ampere
PlayStation
technology
5
from
is
NVIDIA,
definitely
which is
better,
the
but
RTX
look at the
3000
Switch
series.
2 here.
I think it's very, very impressive for what they're showing. I do think
Certain
this is
scenes
quite a bit
actually
more
do look
powerful
better
or
on the
more
Switch 2, in
performant,
my
I should
opinion.
say, than a
Like here,
PlayStation 4.
it's very
And there's
close.
quite a bit of
PlayStation 5
backing
is
to
definitely better
prove
on the
this.
PlayStation 5
Not
Pro.
just Final Fantasy VII
But
Remake,
here,
but
that
there's other
looked...
examples as to prove
This scene right here looks
not
better
just
on
Final
Nintendo
Fantasy
Switch
VII
2.
Remake, but there's other examples as well, including Street Fighter 6, like we talked about in our
Yeah,
last video.
let's just take a second to look at this. The S is not even comparing to the Switch. This was a problem that I thought Xbox was going to have, having two different consoles. I understand they want as many gamers as possible, but if that's the case, let's start putting pressure on Apple and Samsung to just get these games playable on phone. Because they probably could run very similar, at least the flagship phones and even mid-grade phones, could run very similar performance or better than the Series S. It didn't make sense to me that they did the Series S console. We really need to put pressure on Apple and Android and these phone companies to get gaming more serious on mobile. It needs to happen. It's ridiculous.
Which was based on the
But
Xbox
that's not
Series
Xbox's
S
fault
version,
or Microsoft.
and that is not even the PlayStation 4 version. But yeah, we showed that even with the fixed graphics for Xbox Series S, the
Look at
Nintendo
that.
Switch 2 version
It
of
looks
Street
a
Fighter
lot
6
better.
runs second because the original PlayStation
Like,
4
look at
version
this.
was 1080p 60, and it had a
Like,
few frame rate drops as well.
yeah, the
which Digital
PlayStation
Foundry
5 version
actually
might
covered.
look a
Here
little
we have
better,
the Switch 2 version,
but
being
it's like,
reported by Sega.
you barely can
And from
tell.
what looks like a native 4K, if you look at the image quality of this trailer on their YouTube channel, this does in fact look like native 4K, 60 frames per second. The image quality is way, way better than the original PS4 version. It's also way better than the PS5 running the same game in backwards
Exactly.
compatibility mode. The image looks much sharper. There's more texture detail. There's no jaggies.
Like,
it looks
it's, I mean, the
pristinely clean.
PlayStation 5 is 5-year-old technology at this point, but the Switch 2 is a portable console first, then when you put it on the dock. So it's mostly a portable console. For it to do this, again, 5 years after the PlayStation 5, it's still, it's something that needs to be talked about. I'm sure DLSS is helping. I'm sure this isn't probably all hardware, but a lot has been showing, and this shows that mostly it is hardware. Even if you look at more videos than this one that go deeper
on the
into
Switch
it,
2, which is
Yeah,
very,
I
very
mean,
suspect. If this is actually on
it's
par
crazy.
with the PS4, you would
To
think
me,
that
this
would
shows there is no reason to buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X at this point anymore. Back when the consoles were newer, sure. After that, no, because the consoles failed to deliver on exclusive games. They just didn't build great ecosystems. I'm sorry, they've both been dropping the ball. Xbox more than PlayStation, but at least Xbox is setting up a future game plan with, Game Pass. They have xCloud. They've been really improving their old games graphic-wise and really focusing on backwards compatibility better than Nintendo or PlayStation. They're setting up, I think they're changing things about the Xbox OS, maybe to make it more like a PC. They're talking about doing their own handheld along with Sony. But Sony still doesn't even have PS3 emulation on it. Like, PlayStation 3 emulation on PC is almost there when it comes to what's playable. Now, accurate-wise, no. But you think Sony's going to do better than the fans? Come on, bro. Like, I'm sorry. PlayStation, in my opinion, as an overall, like, what they're doing for gaming right now is the worst out of all of them. Now, if you're just looking at the console side of it, Xbox Series X versus the Xbox Series X and S versus PlayStation 5, yeah, sure, PlayStation 5. But let's get back into this.
Also run a 1080p 60, but no, this is running quite a bit better than the PS4. In fact, if it is a native 4K 60 frames on the Switch 2, that yet again, just like Metroid, and a very, very impressive port for how much time they put into it. So we have to wait and see exactly what benefits developers can use for Switch 2 to make up for
Yeah. I think the Switch 2 could end up becoming the main platform until the PlayStation 6 and next Xbox come out. Like, I really don't think the Switch, just because the Nintendo Switch was a better console than both the new Xbox and PlayStation. And it could even go against the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and be said to be better. I mean, I could still see the argument that PlayStation 4 is a better console than the Switch 1. I can see that, and that's a valid argument. I wouldn't fight that. But the Switch 2 is going to wipe the floor with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox. I mean, it's already got good first-party and third-party support just from the first Direct. And I think there were some new games announced from some companies that I'm sure will pop up in other Nintendo Switch Directs. So, I mean, it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to seriously go crazy. But let's look at one more video. Another graphics comparison. Switch 2 Street Fighter 6 versus PlayStation 5. This one really highlights it well. Yeah, the first video is fine. I think this is who I watched. This guy's good. Just seeing the difference. So this is PlayStation 4. This is Switch. Wait, let's go back. Try and get this crap out of the way. Yeah, you can definitely tell it's better. PlayStation 5 is definitely still better. But when the difference is so small, I don't think people are gonna care, bro. I mean, I don't think there's anything portability-wise that can mess with the Switch 2. And if developers really start to utilize the Switch 2, I think it might be able to fully go head to head with PlayStation 5 and Xbox. I think it's just the Switch 2 is doing better when it comes to the software side. They just designed the console very purposefully, and PlayStation has been saying stuff like, oh, they went with power instead of innovation. I just saw a thing today about how PlayStation was saying, oh, Nintendo's giving up on innovation. Bro, they're still innovating with bringing mouses built into the console for the first time ever in gaming history. I mean, I think that should be applauded. Let's give that a little bit of a round of applause. Like what? You know, it's just kind of stupid to me. I guess this is going to be a 1 hour video. Sorry about that, guys, but there's just a lot to talk about. I'm kind of covering everything that's kind of come out about this. This is basically going to be a video that I'm making, and I'm not making another one of Switch 2 for a while. Now, I will do the live stream of the... I mean, look at that. I mean, you definitely can tell the difference. Like, would I prefer to play it on PlayStation 5 still? Yeah. But, like, I don't need to. I'm sure the game still plays fine. And I mean, it's just we're just gonna see how the console goes. It's definitely somewhere in between the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Which it should be. It's portable, for God's sake. I mean, the very fact it's as good as it is, and it can run at 1080p, 120 frames. I was impressed. And it can do 4K with the dock at 60. That's pretty good. Some games are going to run lower than that, like Cyberpunk, and maybe even some other games. They might run at 40 FPS, but this one I'm pretty sure is running at 60. Some little games I can touch on. I'm not going to watch trailers about them. The new Astroneer game looked cool for a third-party game. Hollow Knight, of course, I'm looking forward to Silksong. That's cool. Dustbloods, thought was awesome. Maybe get Kirby Air Ride. Definitely Donkey Kong, Mario Kart World, of course. Those are the big two I think everybody's been talking about. It's great. The new Donkey Kong design, great. Switch 2's performance, great. I mean, but I think that's enough, guys. I've talked about enough. I'm gonna cap this at a 1 hour video. I don't want to take any more of your time. But I don't expect anybody to watch this full video. It's really just if you want to see everything Switch 2 and just get in the know, watch one video about it instead of having to watch a billion videos on YouTube. Sorry again for the webcam quality and lighting not being the best. I do want to upgrade in that future. If anybody could help me do that, figure out how to do it with my situation here in this room with what I'm working with, I am going to get a curtain there and make it look a little better. I'm going to get some designs. I'm thinking about making this like a music wall / maybe like some LED sign thing. Put that there. Definitely want to spice up this room a little bit. We've been working. The last few years I've been working to really make this room look nice with a lot of my own money. When I can. So yeah, I think the Switch 2 is going to do good regardless of how they price things. But I do encourage everyone out there to be a smart consumer and be realistic with how much, you can spend. Don't just, because I know there's kids that are going to watch this and be like, oh, Dad, Mom, can I get this? If there's any kids that watch this, I can't say that I wouldn't have done the same when I was younger and a little bit more naive about stuff. But, just watch. Just see what games are coming out. When it becomes worth it in a few years and has a lot of third-party games you want to play, and it has a lot of first-party games from Nintendo, I think I'm going to jump on board. And I think that's when you should too, basically, is what you should get out of all this. The most important thing. Hopefully the tariffs don't affect this. I've heard it's affecting iPhone prices and all kinds of stuff in the future, or already has, especially in China. It's crazy. We're living crazy times, but got great things like this to look forward to. So I mean, can't hate on it too much. Like I said, the only thing I think that's really complaint, like you should be able to complain about here, is the game demo being $10 instead of just being built in when it's not that great. It's literally just a game manual, glorified game manual, or console manual, whatever the heck you want to call it, and the $80 games. I think that's too much for the general consumer. I'm not saying I won't buy a few $80 games. Like, I'll buy Mario Kart. I'd rather much get the bundle. I hope the bundles are still available in a few years for people. I think it would make Nintendo more money if they keep that bundle around anyway, but we'll see. I think how they did everything with this first Direct's pretty smart. Think they could explain things better, like a lot of people are saying, but other than that, yeah, that's what I think about the Switch. And I will see you guys when we do the Mario Kart World live stream. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace.